Okay guys, hello. Uh, this video is gonna be very random and we are gonna talk here about something I think it's very important, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna explain that, but it's something that it's been kind of it's been an object of my observation for how long these last years while I was using Blender, and I've been working on Blender versions before using cycles render, and I'm using Filmic most of the time. And now it came across with the new AGX for Blender 4, and I have some thoughts about this, and I'm gonna go totally against my technical knowledge about 3D. Okay, not against, but I will kind of make input side. I will put side by side, and I wish you guys can contribute with something with me. And I know about the technicalities of Filmic, of AGX. I know why each one of them has some benefits, and but in my case, most of the time, I'm looking towards realism. Okay, I'm looking towards realism. I work in archivist, and I'm looking towards to make the scenes more realistic. Okay, and it came across that I was looking to my previous works, and I saw this scene that I made in Blender 2.6, I guess, in 2015. It didn't has any Filmic, didn't has none of those color management, at least not the modern ones anymore. And something in that image compared with my current images, which are my don't take me wrong, my current images are much better than than my image from the past. Okay, they look way more well composited, balanced. Okay, it fits more in archivist than my previous image. Of course, we go evolving, yeah, all the time. But somehow something in that image, I mean, if I take aside everything that I'm thinking about the technical issues in 3D, or the problem of colors and all of that, something in that image look like more a picture. It looked like that someone took a picture of that space. You know what I mean? And I started to question myself, how far we go in terms of how far we are going in terms of improvement on how much we can get of fidelity from the colors and the range for avoiding overexposure here and there, if at the end of the day, when we look at something, our eyes adapts to that because there is an overexposure. Okay, when we take a picture back in the days, okay, the picture had some areas that was overexposure. Okay, and this with time started to be corrected by of course technical resources and a more modern approach, and for capturing all the range, okay, in trying to balance and compensate here and there, okay, to avoid to get to the full bright or the full dark. Okay, and that was I was questioning myself, why nowadays, even in the movies, things looks more fake. You know what I mean? It's a 3D, it's realistic, but there is something, I can't really explain. There is something there which it's not like it's trying to run away from how we see the reality, right? And in my perception, my current perception here, doing this video with you, I'm not saying anything, I didn't get any conclusion, I'm just calling you to think about that, okay? The way we see the light, the way everything behaves is not perfect, right? There are lots of imperfection, okay? I'm seeing things like this area is overexposure to my eyes, okay? But if I'm gonna do that in 3D, I will try to make that compensate and stops to being overexposure, okay? And that's my point. When I tested the AGX and U4 being at 4.0, compared with Filmic, I see the point. There's something different, okay? The colors are different, but to be honest, I personally can't really tell that if it's better or not. Maybe there is one scene in which that works better for what I expect, but in other scenes that it doesn't, okay? And that means for me that it's just different, and maybe Filmic is better for other things. But even though Filmic still wash out things in a way that try to compensate here and there, my point is, I'm gonna be totally stupid here because it seems that I'm going back on time to previous technology or previous way of seeing things. But I want to share with you this image, right? This image was made in Blender 4.0. I didn't do that much work. It was an image that I had previously. It's a kind of okay lobby, right? But I try to, you know what, I'm gonna render this, I'm gonna use, instead of AGX, the standard colors, okay? And of course it will be a mess because it doesn't hold the range, so we will have very exposed areas compared with other dark areas. But I want to see how it looks, okay? And this is how it looks. Right? Let's see. Okay, what is that? What is that? I prefer this. Yes, this is more beautiful. This is more beautiful. Okay, but that's not my point. That's not my point. Okay, because when I look into this image here, man, something. Look at these areas. These areas are totally blown out. It's totally overexposure. Okay. I could render this out with more gamma, less exposure, and try in Photoshop match that, okay, achieve a result that it wasn't that much overexposure. But my point is not this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this area here. Okay, look at this area here. Okay, I will just bring it here to you. I will bring this here to you and show. Look at this. It seems okay, right? But if we go here and look at this, man, to be very honest with you, I can see more this existing in real life, this existing in the real world, than this one. You see here, this one, I can see, look at that, side by side, look at that. I can see this more real than this, you know? Even everything is overexposure in this area. I can see more a person standing here. Look at this. I can see more a person, a real person here, standing here than here. I don't know why, I don't know how, you know, but my thoughts tells me that this is more picture than this. I don't know why, I don't know how is that. I know this image doesn't sell like this, maybe will sell, okay, but I'm not, that's not the point. The point is something in this image here, it's kind of driving me more to a picture than this one. Look at the vegetation, look at the highlights, look the highlights here, and look at here, man. Look at this. Look at this. This is the new AGX. This is the new color approach. I know it can be better. It can be played around and get better results. But I mean, out of the box, this to me looks way more real. The exposure outside, it's blowing out. It's kind of it what happens when I look fast that direction. My eye try to adapt, and the interior gets darker and the exterior gets brighter, or the exterior gets darker and the interior darken as well. Okay, so I will be able to see. But if I look into inside, the exterior got brighter, and then I can see the interior. Okay, my eyes adapt to that, and that's why I see this outside much more realistic than this. This is a kind of 3D-ish, you know, and this is what would happen somehow, you know. I'm being totally ignorant here, okay, but I'm kind of expressing my feelings about how sometimes we go too deep on the technicality of the things and we forget to match what would be happening in the real world, okay? Because the real world is not perfect, okay? If we try to mimic the perfection and seeing all the colors, all the range for everything that we are looking at, we are kind of, in my personal opinion, we are kind of faking the reality, okay? And my advice to myself would be test. And if you need to do something, get a reference, for a photoreal reference, not a nice 3D, but a real picture reference, and try to match that, because in this way you will be training yourself to erase from your mind all the boundaries that the technicality give us and tell us that that's the right way to do things. There's no right way, and it's not just because one technology is way more advanced than the other technology that it will work better than the previous one, okay? It's just something to think about it. And yeah, happy blending, and give your thoughts and let me know what you guys think about this whole thing, okay? I know there are lots of people at this time discussing about Filmic and AGX. And yesterday I was rendering a bunch of images in Blender 4.0 and in Blender 3.6 to see the difference, and I realized, okay, the shaders has changed, so I have to adapt. And then I took some time today to adapt the image on 4.0 to a new principle based shader and the 3.6 in Filmic, and somehow I still couldn't tell the one is much better than the other one. You know what I mean? For some things I like more in Filmic and Blender 3.6 than in the new Blender 4.0 AGX. And then I decided to try standard, and then my mind starts to go in a loop, because I was seeing things that I was, oh, okay, this area specifically, it's much more realistic just using the raw colors or standard and playing around with the exposure. It feels more real. And then now I don't know, you know. But yeah, that's something to think about it. I hope you guys like this video. I'm not teaching anything. I'm not saying anything that is really improving your knowledge, but it's just a conversation about that. And I wish I can hear you guys and see your opinion about this. Okay, see you next video.